How's it going, everyone? We are back with another watch list. I am feeling a little bit sick today, so I'm going to move through this one a little bit quicker and excuse any nasally speech or voice cracks, things of that nature. But let's get right into it. First things first, thank you so much for watching. Every single view means the absolute world to me. Hopefully you are just as passionate about the stock market, trading, investing, whatever that may be, as much as I am. If you are, please consider dropping a like, comment, or even subscribing to the channel. I would appreciate that very, very much. So let's rock and roll. Kicking things off with SPY, 15-minute chart here. First zone I'm going to be watching as we are approaching it already. Closed around at Fridays, our previous day high zone. I'll look for a break and retest over previous day high up to my next zone, 670, 669, 668. Multiple highs up here as well. I'll be watching that for a reject, but of course not playing a reject, not looking for a reversal. I'm really looking for this move from here to here, right? If we hold under the previous day high, I'll look for a move back down to my next support zone in the 660, 661, and below that down here at 658, 657. Below 657, my next support is down here at 654, 653, right? So we can see it all clearly on the hourly, right? Levels and zones. That's what I'll be watching this week on SPY. Let's head over to ES. I'm not looking for any supply or demand at the moment, just considering my previous day high and levels and just zones that I see on the chart as supply and demand. I said in my last watch list, I'm not really looking to be taking supply and demand trades at the moment. I hate how they kind of are like reversal trades. Maybe they work a little bit better for futures and the way those they move, but the contract supply and demand trades, I've been getting more kind of like just break a trim off at like 1-to-1 R and then just like break even stop. Like it's against the EMAs, it's against the trend, because like say we have a supply zone up here on the 4-hour, price is ripping up, it's strong, we're over the previous day high. I really don't like to look at shorts over the previous day high anyways. And say we get A plus confirmation at that supply, I have had winning trades where we move back down and get a big move, but I'm finding them to be a lot more rare. So on ES here, I'll be looking for a break and retest of previous day high. My next support is our supply zone up at 67.50, then 67.60 and 67.67. If we hold underneath the previous day high and 6,700, I'll look for a move back down to this zone here at 664, 66.64 to 66.74. Below that, 66.40 to 66.32, and below that, 6,600 to 65.70 zone. All right. Let's go over to SPX. Very simple levels: previous day high, previous day low. That's all I look at on SPX. And then whole cycle number 6,700, 6,600. So we have a lot of support down here around the 6,600. If that does break, my next support is down to 65.54. Break and retest over previous day high up to 6,700 and 67.09. Let's go over to QQQ. It'll look pretty similar. Previous day high, testing it. So we'll see what happens in the futures tonight. I'll look for a break and retest over the previous day high, 605, for a move back up to 606, 608, and then a move back to the all-time high zone at 613. If we reject the previous day high, I'll watch for a move back down to 600, the 600 zone, and below that I have 596, 595 zone, and below that is 589. This is obviously no longer the pre-market low, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. So that's going to be QQQ. Again, just looking for key levels and zones. My EMA alignment, I use a 13, 48, and 200, and VWAP. Very, very simple. I'll show you an example of that in a second at the end of the video. Break and retest at the key levels, confirming obvious price action at those key levels and EMAs, and that's it. Just have elite risk management and try to milk my winners as much as I can, which again, still my number one priority at the moment is making my winners bigger than my losses. And again, I want to reiterate, my losses have been max 15%. I have just been struggling very much to get winners over 15%. I mean, even last week, I had a 70% winner on Friday, which is a great way to end the week on AMD shorts. But a lot of wins last week. Last week, I had a 62% win rate. My wins were 2%, 4%, because I was getting 1-to-1 R and then break even stop. So on my total position, I was getting a 4, 5, 6% return. Just terrible. Anyways, so I'll be reevaluating my entries and stops and just really trying to nail those down better to make sure I get more than just 1-to-1 R. Anyways, okay, so NQ here, same thing. Previously high, I'll watch this zone first. If we reject it, I'll look for a move back down to here at 24,859, 24,827. Below that, 24,675 and 24,643. Let's go over to AMD. Speaking of, so previous day high, previous day low. I'll look for a break and retest over previous day high, back up to all-time highs. Underneath the previous day low, I'll look for a move back down to 232, 220, right? Very simple. This is all pre-market. I'd love to see us come down under this previous day low, retest this area, or break and retest over the previous day high to make it all a new all-time high. All right. The move that I caught on Friday was this move down here. Once we broke under the pre-market low or previous day low, can't remember at this point, but this was my confirmation on the 15-minute and caught this entire move down. On my last contract, went just under 200%. It was beautiful, which is not a goal. I was just riding it with the EMAs. NVIDIA. So I did have this trend line on the chart that I was watching. We did break out of this trend line here. So not, trend line isn't a major part of my analysis. It's just something I'll look for. But we did break and retest it perfectly on the 15-minute. Broke out this trend, retested it perfectly. So I'll look for a move over the previous day high. Really have to bust through this zone here before I look at longs for a move back up to 190 and this daily supply. So see how I do have a supply zone in NVIDIA? I will watch that. This is a very strong, obvious looking supply zone. So we did come up and reject close to it already. So I'll look for a stronger move into this zone here, 190, 192 for a rejection. Anyways, but as far as supply and demand goes, I'll be looking to get back above or under the EMAs before I jump in. So that's going to be NVIDIA. If we break below 179, my next support is down here, 176, 174 zone. Let's go over to Apple. Apple's been moving back up, which is nice to see. Anyways, first zone I have is this previous resistance turned to potential support here, 251.84. If we fade under this, I'd be looking at shorts back to 247, the previous day low. Below that, I have abundance of support here, 245, 244, 243. Break and retest over this weekly supply. So we're in a weekly supply zone, so I really need this to clear before I'm looking at longs. So we have this weekly supply. We're already starting to get a little bit of a rejection on it on Friday. So again, will this send us back down to 245 area, maybe 247? We'll see. But for me, for longs, I need to see us get over 254 before I move back to 256, and then my other zones up here. And then lastly, we can look at Tesla. Tesla had a really strong move Friday. So previous day high, 441, 443. I'll look for a break and retest over this zone here to 450. I'll look for a first support to be down here. This resistance turn to support at 432 and 430. If we break and retest below that, I'll be looking for a move back down to 423, 421. So that's going to be everything I'm watching. Just to show you real quick, what I'm looking for system-wise. Like here's an example on AMD, the move that I caught. Let's go to Friday here. So I actually had two entries on this one. The first one I got stopped out of, and the second one was beautiful. So I can't remember if it was previous day low, I believe. So the previous day low was like right around here, this 232 area. Okay. First entry was on this candle here. Really nice break underneath the low. On the 2-minute chart, I was playing a break of the 200 EMA. So first entry was here at 1058 when we closed underneath. I did get stopped out here. See how in hindsight, this is where I would stay and wait for a 2-minute close. Again, just pretend there's a level right here, 232, like this. When this swept this and stopped me out, I re-entered short right at the close and took this whole move down. Trim, trim, trim again. On my last contract, I was only in 4 contracts because I was looking for a starter. Once I saw this candle, I should have added the rest of my position, but I got my last contract from 60 all the way to 161, so it was beautiful. It's a 70% total return. It was awesome. But this is what I'm looking for. We break under the previous day low. We're under the EMAs, under VWAP. Strong, obvious candle here. This is where I would enter, full size right away, put the stop on the other side of this candle, take this move down. So it was a beautiful trade on Friday. The only EMA that was in the way at the time was the 5-minute 200 on the 5-minute. However, this confirmation was strong enough. We were under the rest of the EMAs. We were under a key level. It was good enough for me to take. It was very strong and obvious, right? And again, we had already previously broke that EMA here, and then we came up and just retested the level. Again, when you get a candle like this at a key level, you're taking the trade, all right? So that's going to be everything. I'll be curious to see where futures open up tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribing on the video. It would mean the absolute world to me. And I'm wishing you all a blessed, beautiful week inside and outside the market. Peace.